Welcome to Tech with Yugesh YouTube channel. Today the topic is Learn HTML in just 5 minutes. HTML, HyperText Markup Language. It's almost as old as the internet itself. We are on HTML5 now, which has brought us from this to this. This is in a history lesson through we will cover all the most important aspects of modern HTML in just 5 minutes. Starting now, you always start with index.html, which is like an instruction manual for every website. You load this JavaScript, these images, these style sheets, etc. In fact, every web page is like a folder like one on your computer. The browser can assemble with these instructions. So we could create an HTML file with just like content like so, and it would be appear like so. But that's not really a point. Things get interesting when we make this content in a HTML element. We do this by adding an opening and closing tag around it. Now we have one complete element, tags plus content. The easy header tag, one of six, is not tells about how the size of element, but gives the search engine's valuable information. We are jumping ahead bit of because what we have so far is not correct HTML. Really, we want to put everything inside a HTML tag within the tag head and body tag. Head tag contain meta information scripts we want to load before the page and thus often style sheets too. Body is everything else. It's not it appear literally and the page, so all of your content and main elements will go inside. We will often add scripts to end of our body too. This body and meta stuff is usually called boilerplate. It's mostly the same every time. So you just generate with autocomplete and most code editors in mind VS Code and just press exclamation mark and tab. Boom. Now let's talk about the most common HTML elements. You have these titles, but you can also have the paragraph elements which you can use in to separate some long to text content. There are more text elements that you can modify existing text like underlining, marking it bold, italic, but these are not bit weird because you can also use CSS to do this. Did I mention, by the way, you can nest elements with each other? I think I did, but you definitely can. Now let's talk about attributes which can modify your elements. Inside an opening tag, there are global attributes like classes and IDs that you can add to any tag without there. A class lets style an element or select with JavaScript later when we add CSS and JavaScript pretty useful. We can apply multiple classes with a space and reapply the same class with element other attributes or element specific. For example, if we want to load an image, we would need to image tag and image tag. Requires a source attribute to work. The source should be the URL of your image. Then it works. Images have a lot of optional attributes too. All for backup text and height. Let's keep going. Anchor tags or links. They are super important for navigation and require a href attribute. This is the URL you want to link to. We have ordered and unordered list depending on whether you want numbers or bullet points. Use the li tag to do some pretty cool stuff. Next up, we have got forms. With these, users can log in, create posts, and make payments and more. You will do this by wrapping one or more input elements. You can link an input to a label with the ID and input and 4 attribute on the label. When you click the label, it will activate your input. I am using checkboxes as an example, but this works for all the inputs. The submission action can be triggered by a button on in certain cases by hitting enter. For form submission and tag the action attribute, then the name attributes to individual inputs will put their values in URL when you submit, and this bunch of more attributes inputs like disable autofocus and most required. Most people still pull a reference for even this we have done 100 times. There is one more weird attribute that you can put anything to, a data attribute. You can store string data on element then retrieve it later. Okay, let's talk container elements. You can put stuff inside a div or span tag. Then we style or select the container spans or inline text and divs or sections. But an anti-div movement has actually emerged. More than that, so last we have got style and script tags. We strip the language writing between the tags inside style, CSS and script. You have guessed it, JavaScript. So you can write all these languages in a single HTML file, but you need to keep this organized. You should generally separate them, just make a second file. It's not hard, and the import that file like for CSS and like so for JavaScript. Finally, let's talk about anti-div movement in the semantic HTML. Instead of div, which is under container, you are supported to more descriptive containers like this. These containers don't function any differently, but they are supposed to better for search engines and developers assuming name your containers correctly. That is anyway an HTML in 5 minutes. It's really not bad or complicated. Hope you learned something. Let me know if you want to expand build in 5 minutes, and I will see you in really soon. Take care. Bye.